should you or should you not boil down the ice? Alright, so what I did right here is I went ahead and took one of the buckets that was frozen right there, punched a hole through the ice, and I was able to drain out the ice here. So we're going to boil this down, and then we're going to allow the ice to melt, and then we're going to boil down the ice and see if we get any sap out of that. And we're going to do that with the other buckets that we have outside as well. Alright guys, so what we're going to do right now is we're going to go and collect up our sap buckets. This time we're going to do something a little bit differently. We're going to go ahead and grab the ice off of the out of the buckets, and we're just going to boil down the ice because we want to answer the question that a lot of people seem to be having as far as should you or should you not boil down the ice, or should you just get rid of it? Well, let's find out. Let's do just the ice and see if we get any syrup out of it. Alright, here we go. Well, we're going to get a lot of ice out of this bucket. There was a lot of ice in that bucket too, so we'll have to check those out. We'll bring it in the house and we'll try to chip some of that ice out. That way we can boil down just the ice. That bucket's about half full, so we'll have to come back out and exchange that later when we get a free bucket. Okay, so at this point I've consolidated all the ice into one bucket, and we're going to go ahead and let that melt down a little bit. And once that melts down enough, we'll transfer it over into a pot, and then we'll start boiling and melting this down. And that's going to take a while, but we're going to try it out and see what we get out of this, if we get any sap. Seeing that's all solid ice, we've drained it. It's not solid, it's hollow on the inside. It just looks like it's a bucket. Hold on, I'll show you what I mean by that. So if I pull this up, you can see it's all in here is hollowed out. So we're just trying to wait for that to melt down. Put it in that way now, so when it drips, drip into the bucket. I'm going to stick my hand all the way into that, move it around. It's not solid, but it is ice. Look at that, tell me what you think. What's it taste like?
Sugar water.
You can taste the sugar in it? Yeah? So you think when we boil that down, do you think we'll still get syrup out of it? When we boil all that ice down? Yeah? Okay, and we'll find out. Alright, so we've switched it over to a finishing pan now. And we're boiling it down a little bit further, and we're going to watch the temperature. At this point, you pretty much have to watch it pretty closely because it will boil quickly. Alright, so I've got this thermometer set up in there so that you guys can see it. And it's not touching the bottom of the pan, it's just floating in there. Now we're there, we can take a look at the temperature, and we're going to want it again somewhere between 211 and 219. When we test it in the hydrometer, our testing is for around 211. And we're watching the bubble consistency. As you can see, it's even getting more of a sheen on those bubbles. I don't know if you can really see that or not. Let me try to zoom you in on just the bubbles for a second. There you go. You can kind of see the sheen on the bubbles there. Let's see. Take the spoon, we put it in. See, it's almost sticking to the spoon as we put it in. And it's keeping a nice little sheen on the spoon as well. You can see that. See, it's sticking to that spoon. It tastes like syrup. And we're going to go ahead and test this again. So I'll back you guys up again. Let me zoom you out. We know we're at 211, which is the temperature we want to test at. I'm going to pour just a little bit into the measuring cup to make it easier to transfer over. I'm going to put some in the hydrometer about halfway. I'm going to call that good right now. Oh no, we're going to need to go a little bit more than that. That's good. I'm going to drop the hydrometer in nice and slowly. We need to put some more sap. That looks like it should be about good. Nope, it's still thin. Right at that 211 mark. Let it go just another minute. Turn the heat down a little bit just to keep the rolling boil. If you look at that, that's starting to look really good. almost got that sheen on there. You can see it's getting a skin. That skin. Okay, we're going to go ahead and transfer it into this cup. Again. Making sure we're staying at the 211 where we're at right now. I'm going to pour it into the hydrometer. And it's starting to float. Just going to add a little more so you guys can see it. Alright. So here's the hydrometer right here. You see the red line. As I let it go, it's floating right on the top of the syrup. That means we actually have maple syrup right now. So we're going to go ahead and pour this back into the cup. Filter inside of a strainer here, and we're going to do one last filter. Of the syrup. Can't really see it very well in there, but that is filtering. As you can see, we'll pull it out. There we go. That's going to go ahead and filter that right out. So this is having a harder time, so we're just going to go ahead and switch over to a cheesecloth. Put that in there. And then we're going to go ahead and dump all the syrup through the cheesecloth. You can see all the sediment as we open this back up. You can see all the stuff that stayed on top of the inside the filter. Now we'll put it into our jar. Put the lid on it. And that's it. Alright guys, so earlier you saw me using the hydrometer to test my sap and to see if it turned into syrup. So that's the process that I use in order to do that, to make sure I actually have syrup and not what I think is syrup. It's a better way of checking, and it's more accurate, and your syrup comes out a little bit thicker usually. Alright, now that sap that I was boiling down was the syrup from the sap from the ice bucket that I started to test to see if whether or not we should boil down the ice or not. Well, that was a 5-gallon bucket of about ice. It was almost all ice. It was just shy of 5 gallons, and this is the amount of sap that we got out of it. It's about 3/4 of a pint, which in my opinion that's worth boiling the sap or the ice for. So I'm going to continue to keep my ice and boil that down, as it is producing syrup. Alright, now again, I thank you guys for watching. If you like what we're doing, please subscribe and leave some comments down below. It does help us to grow our channel. And don't forget to click that bell button so you know when we've uploaded a new video. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and put in some of our other videos up here and the subscribe thing right down here so that you can go ahead and subscribe to the channel.